So, what is the perfect vehicle for overlanding? Hi, everybody, and I'm Rob, and this is Storm Crew Overland. We talk about going on adventures, road tripping, camping, and just generally getting out and enjoying life. On this week's episode, we're going to talk about what is the best, most perfect vehicle for overlanding. Now, some of you may know I love my 4Runners. You may be expecting me to say 4Runners. Now, um, you may be expecting me to say something big, fancy, and expensive. Oh, Land Cruiser 80 Series is the perfect thing. Or, no. Realistically, what we all have to understand and accept is that overlanding is not off-roading. Overlanding is primarily just traveling. And when it comes to traveling, even overlanding, trying to find those cool campsites or those cool views or that perfect remote spot where no one's around, a lot of times you're dealing with roads that look like this or this, maybe this, but ultimately a lot of times the roads we end up on look like this. So what I'm getting at is, realistically, the vehicle really doesn't matter as much as you think. Yes, if this is something you're super into and you know you've done this and you are looking to spend some good money and you're an experienced person, you've got all the money in the world and you go, I'm going to go buy something brand new, get it all set up. Cool. Go. You don't, at that point, you don't need my video. You know what you're looking for. You don't need me to tell you. Go buy an Ineos Grenadier. Go buy the super coolest Rubiconist Jeep they make. Uh, go buy anything. New Tundra TRD, whatever Toyota's making this year. At the end of the day, the vehicle's not super important. You need something reliable. That's the biggest thing I'll say. If you've been in the Overland online community much at all, you've probably seen memes where it's like when you spend $50,000 on a vehicle and $20,000 on upgrades to get to your dispersed campsite and go around a corner and see a Corolla sitting there. Dude, these things happen. Most overland trips I've been on realistically could have been done with a Corolla or a Prius or anything. A lot of it's dirt roads. Yeah, you may not be able to go like to Moab and do the cool stuff that some of the cool stuff there. You can do plenty, I promise. There's plenty of stuff you can do. The rig's just not that important. You just need something reliable that'll carry your stuff to get you where you're going to camp. You need to go out and just do it. Don't worry about probably anything you're worried about with the vehicle, as long as it runs. And even when it comes to like modifications on your vehicles, you don't need as much as you think you do. I'm going to take a break real quick and we're going to kind of move around and I'll use some different spots on my vehicle and talk about modifications that are helpful, but you don't need them. So let's take a minute and talk about lift kits and wheels and tires and all that. I have a lift on my vehicle. It's about a 2.5, 3-inch lift. I have upgraded tires. I got Nitto Ridge Grapplers. They're 33s. And when you go on, you start looking on Overland forums and talking to people, and even podcasts and YouTube, dude, 33s are small. There's people running, 35s are the new normal, it seems like. And people are running 38s and 40s, and let's be realistic, that's off-road stuff. That's not overlanding stuff. Uh, it's just going to hurt your mileage. Yeah, you're going to get a little bit extra ground clearance with, bigger wheels and bigger tires, but like I said, it's going to hurt your mileage. You're going to probably get more road noise. It's going to make your vehicle better at some very specific things, but technically it's going to be worse at others. Every modification you can do to a vehicle is a trade-off. And that's why every vehicle doesn't come lifted with 38s and everything else. It's not what you need most of the time. Um, there's a part of me that wants to lift this thing to the sky and try to fit 35s and cut the fenders and all that. But this is also my daily driver. Or I've got family 8 hours away in Houston that I may jump in the car and drive down there and see them. And I don't want to be burning up expensive, you know, 38-inch mud tires for 8 hours on the highway to go see my family. That's just not, it's not fun. I don't want my vehicle getting single digit miles per gallon because it's lifted to the sky and everything's bigger and heavier. Because a lot of overlanding is, unless you live in the mountains in Colorado or in the desert Southwest, or if you live outside of Moab, you might be able to go overland in your backyard. If I want to go somewhere really neat, and there's cool places in Oklahoma, I'm not dogging Oklahoma for any of the local people watching. But if I want to go somewhere cool, it's a minimum of 4 hours of highway time. And that's to get to the Ozarks. And if I want to get to cool stuff in Colorado, it's 6 to 8 hours of just highway, just blasting down the highway. So why would I waste all these, why would I put all these big things on a vehicle to make it worse at these big chunks of time of what it's going to be doing? Almost forgot. I will admit, you always have to have the little caveat, the rule of cool. Big tires do look good. Lifts make your vehicle look meaner and tougher, and it's cool. But at the end of the day, going from a 31-inch tire to a 33-inch tire, you're gaining about an inch of ground clearance. It's that much. It's really that impressive. No one's impressed by an inch. Uh, I do, if you are going to be actually going off road some, probably a good idea to look into some better tires. Don't, especially if you're getting started, don't worry about mud tires. Get all terrains. That's what I mean. I'm running all terrains. They're just going to last you longer. They're going to be a better all around tire, and it's going to work for most of the stuff you're going to do. Something else to think about that you really don't need when it comes to an overland vehicle: you don't need a winch. Yes, you probably want some basic recovery gear. And by basic recovery gear, I mean, go buy some knockoff traction boards on Amazon. Maybe have a tow strap, some soft shackles, hard shackles, whatever you want. Most importantly, have a buddy. Uh, I have a winch because I go out by myself a lot. And if I get stuck, there's no one to pull me out. But if I get stuck and there's no tree to hook this to, and I'm by myself, well, I'm still screwed. So I still carry traction boards and everything else. But and maybe a shovel. Shovel's good too if you get stuck. That's kind of the most basic recovery tool. But you don't need a big metal bumper and winch and all this other stuff, recovery wise. You probably want to have a good recovery point. Uh, and even if you have a more unconventional vehicle, something like a normal car or a Subaru or a Corolla or whatever, if you can get a receiver hitch for the back of it, and you can put a receiver hitch shackle that'll hold uh, like it'll hold a recovery, makes a recovery point that goes in your shackle. Sorry, tired, long day. If you can get one of those on there, that's great. That'll work. You'd only be able to work from behind, but chances are, if you go and get stuck, you're going to want someone to pull you out from behind anyway. Um, so yeah, you don't need big fancy things like this. You need something. So back to that, if you're getting started, modifications you don't need. Well, you don't need drawer systems or fridge slides or anything like that. Yes, I have a fridge slide. Yes, I have a drawer built in back here. They're not needed. They're really not. There's been more than once I've considered tearing this all out and either doing it a different way or just going with like some actual like storage boxes to put back here with my stuff in it. Uh, the drawer looks neat, and it is kind of nice to have somewhere for a lot of your stuff to go, like my air compressor, first aid kit, all that kind of stuff. It's nice for it to have somewhere to go and be able to open it up. I do like that I can open mine up and turn it into my stove will fit on top of it, makes it like kind of a little cooking station. You don't need any of that. Take whatever you have, go out, get started, try it out. I mean, go until you can't. Go until you find a problem. And whether that problem's tire related or storage related or recovery related. Or find that problem, then figure out how to solve it. Don't start solving problems before you know if they're actually a problem. So just to kind of wrap up, realistically, the best overland vehicle, especially the best overland vehicle to get started with, is whatever you already have. Like I said at the beginning, if you've got all the money in the world and you've been doing this and you want something crazy, go buy something crazy. But if you're like most of us and you're on a budget and you think this is something you want to do, but you're not 100% sure, load up whatever vehicle you have with some basic camping gear, a basic map from the National Forest Service, or whatever you're going to head to, and go out there and try it. Don't let your vehicle be what holds you back from going out and exploring and adventuring and having fun and overlanding. You don't need a ton of ground clearance. You don't need four-wheel drive. You don't need lift kits and crazy tires. You don't need winches. You don't need crazy storage setups. You need some real basics. You don't even need a way to cook. Grab some takeout on your way. There's many trips where I was out driving trying to get somewhere, stopped for lunch at a Love's with a Subway, got a foot long, ate half for lunch, saved the other half to eat at camp when I got there because I knew I wouldn't feel like cooking, or I didn't bring cooking gear, or I was starting out and didn't even have camp cooking gear yet. That, or my other favorite one. This is my favorite, like sneaky way to have food and not have to worry about cooking it. Grab a pizza while you're on the road. Eat some pizza. Have some pizza at camp. And then you can have pizza for breakfast if there's some left. And you don't have to cook anything. And plus, you get to eat pizza. I love pizza. So, load up some basic camping gear. Get a map to let you know where you're going. And go in whatever you have. And yeah, if you can, get some basic recovery gear. Some knockoff traction boards, a strap, some shackles, just in case. Better yet, find a buddy. Go online. There's overland groups everywhere. I don't care if you're on Reddit or Facebook or Instagram, any of that stuff. You can find someone. There's forums on websites, Overland Bound, Overland Journal, any of that kind of stuff. Um, it's not hard to find someone to go with. And most of the people I've met in the overland community love helping new people or taking new people out and showing them the ropes or sharing stuff with them or sharing gear with them if they don't have it. And it's a great way to meet people. And if you're in Oklahoma, especially in central Oklahoma, the Oklahoma City area, I encourage you to check out OKC Overland or the OKC Rigs and Coffee that we do on the second Saturday of the month every month. Check these things out. We try to be very new person friendly, and we'll do trips and stuff that are you can take anything on, any vehicle. Uh, Check out Sooner State Overland. And I'm sure other groups do these things too. But I know a while back, Jared from Sooner State Overland specifically did a trip for non-conventional overland vehicles. I mean, someone took, I think it was their grandmother's Crown Vic. Just go out. Don't let gear or vehicle or not having the right stuff be what stops you. Go out there, adventure, have a good time. Finally, if you're watching this on YouTube, we also release the audio as a podcast. You can find it wherever good podcasts are found. Just search Stormcrow Overland. If you are listening to this as a podcast, realize we also release the video on YouTube. Just search Stormcrow Overland there as well. And finally, you can find us on Instagram at, you guessed it, Stormcrow Overland. Uh, on any of those platforms, I'd really appreciate a like, comment, follow, subscribe, a message, any of that kind of stuff. Let me know what you think. Leave me a comment. Am I crazy for saying just take what you have? Am I crazy for saying no? Wait, make sure you have a Rubicon or a 4Runner on 35s or a Tacoma on 37s. Or maybe I'm crazy, but I think you should. I really do think you should get out there and try it. Because man, would it suck to be new at this and spend 50, 60 grand on a vehicle and 10 or 20 grand on upgrades and camping gear, and then go out a couple times and find out it's not for you. I mean, I know the veteran folks on here, I'm sure you've seen the rooftop tents for sale that have been used twice or once or never, because people got it because they thought it was cool and it sounded fun, and it just wasn't their thing. And that's fine. Everybody's allowed to have different things. But especially if you're new, try this stuff out before you spend a lot of money on a vehicle and stuff and all that. See if you like it. Um, I think that's really all I have for y'all today. So I'll let you go. But sometimes you have to go out and get lost in whatever vehicle you have before you can find yourself. Thanks for watching.